He does that in various forms, including Twitter.
So there was a lot of reaction now. Republicans there reacting to the White House, putting some of them in his crosshairs. President Donald Trump warning conservatives to get on board with his agenda or face the consequences in 2018 along with Democrats. Want to bring in Tennessee Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, former vice chair of the Trump transition team, and welcome back here to America's Newsroom.
Good to be with you.
How should we view this now, this back and forth, do you think?
Well, I think the back and forth actually needs to be put aside, Bill. We have a problem to solve, and we know that the Affordable Care Act healthcare marketplace is collapsing. Today we're hearing that Anthem is wanting out of this, and it's too expensive to afford, too expensive to use, and out of fairness to the Americans that got put into this marketplace, we, as members of Congress working with the administration, need to put differences aside. We need to put the American people first. We need to solve this problem.
All right, Donald Trump tweeted this yesterday, okay? The following on screen for our viewers. Representative Mark Meadows, Jim Jordan, Raul Labrador, if they would get on board, we would have both great health care and massive tax cuts and reform. Are they the ones holding this up?
I think that you can look at every faction of our party, whether it's the Tuesday Group, the Freedom Caucus, the Republican Study Committee, and say, okay, let's all agree that we have to come together. And I don't think you can place blame to any one group or any one individual. There are many of us that have been involved in meetings trying to bring a solution forward and to find those commonalities that we can agree on and to get this bill that was so close to being a finished product and was a product that most of us felt we could support. We need to be certain that we have those 216 Republican votes. But, Bill, I tell you what, I want to make certain some Democrats come in and support this.
We'll see if that happens. A week ago,
Yes,
the president said this on the big day of the health care was pulled. Watch.
Do you feel betrayed by the House Freedom Caucus at all? They seem to be the most difficult to
No,
get.
I'm not betrayed. They're friends of mine. I'm disappointed because we could have had it. So I'm disappointed. I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you. I'm disappointed, but they're friends of mine. And you know, they got on. It was a very hard time for them and a very hard vote. But they're very good people.
They would argue it wasn't good enough, wasn't conservative enough. You're trying to make the case that things can be patched over.
Yes.
I don't know if that's possible, or if I don't know if both sides right now are negotiating publicly. Which do you believe it is?
We need to close the door and negotiate and come to a consensus on what we're going to do. I'm not going to get everything I want. They're not going to get everything they want. Tuesday Group isn't going to get everything, but it needs to be a consensus bill that's the best way forward. Now, once we do this bill, then we can move on to things like my legislation, which is a cross-state line purchase of health insurance, the association health plans that we've already passed in the House, the small business protections, which we've already passed in the House, and get around to implementing 21st Century Cures, which was signed into law by President Obama and passed out of the House and the Senate on a bipartisan basis. That is the type of forward motion that the American people expect to see. And Bill, I think their greatest frustration right now is that we cannot agree and that Congress is not getting anything done, and we're not keeping our commitment to the American people. We need to do this before we finish next week.
Last question, need a quick answer.
Sure.
You just heard our conversation with Jason Chaffetz.
Yeah.
Does the rub between the White House and conservatives now, does this affect what you need to get done over the next month?
We should be the adult in the room, every one of us, and push it aside. When we focus on personality, we lose. When we focus on policy, we and the American people will win.
Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. Thank you for coming back, and we'll talk to you real soon. Thank you. 20
Sure.
minutes now past the hour. Back to Shannon.